What's up, y'all? JuniorFrmTheFam. I'm here with another interview. We pushing up on about 20 interviews now. Everybody sliding through. We getting everybody's story out there. Well, we mixing crowds and audience. Man, we trying to make some change, bring some change around Saginaw, man. Let's get together. Let's unify, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I hope everybody having a good day. We having a good one. We in the stool. We chopping it up, sharing information with each other, you know what I mean? Growing iron, sharpening iron. But with that being said, I'm with my dog Tomahawk.
What's up?
Thank you for hopping on.
Yeah,
we definitely got it. We finally got it together.
Yeah.
It's been a couple weeks. You was busy. I was busy. But now the time it comes, getting warm outside. We trying to grow. Hell yeah! But nice seeing you for sure. Where you from, fam?
You know, I'm from the Sag, man. I grew up here.
Okay.
You know, I lived on every side of the town, but since I can remember, I probably spent most time on the east side.
Oh yeah, okay.
I lived in BV. I lived on the north side. I'm on the north side now, so you know I fuck with everybody from every side of town. So I always had family for every side of town. So
right. What schools you went to growing up?
Oh shoot, man! I went to Emerson. I went to Weber. Shoot, man! I went to Central when Central was still around. The High. Man, I got expelled, so I ended up going to Reuben Dames, but I did end up getting my GED. I got to college. You know, I got a few college courses under my belt. So.
Okay, that's fine. What you go to school for?
I actually, man, you know what? I ain't gonna lie to you. I originally started with physical therapy because I always been kind of into health, and you know, just it's a reason for that, but whatever. But I eventually wanted to get into what I really wanted to do, so I ended up switching into media broadcasting.
Okay.
Now, I didn't stick with it, but, you know, I've been doing this off and on myself for so long now, so it's like, it's still in my heart. You know
right, absolutely. That's fire right there. When you was young, growing up, you know, everybody was like, I want to be a firefighter, or I want to be the president, or I want to be a business owner. What was your dream as growing up as a child?
Man, I would really think about this, because I remember that question. I remember when they first asked me that, and how I was like, man, I don't know if I want to do any of those things. But honestly, if my first pick out of all the jobs, a police officer.
Oh yeah, that's real.
I ain't saying I want to do it now. I'm just saying, I ain't got nothing against it. Just I have a different understanding now, so I can't. My heart wouldn't feel right, but I don't have nothing against them personally. I understand there's a need for certain things in certain places and certain times, but I just don't feel like everybody ain't right. You know what world we living in, bro. Right. I ain't gonna be stupid. Yeah, I remember even thinking back in the days, like, man, I hope I don't have to raise my people and shit.
Yeah.
Like, they was asking us stuff. I was like, man, I was scared to even go for it, because I'm like, I was thinking, like, I'd have been in a couple raids as a child, so I know what it's like. And, you know, it's horrifying, man. So I used to think about that from time to time. I got family that get active and shit. You know, I was getting active back in the day, so that was one of my first, like, worldly careers. And I think at some point I even thought, I was basically trying to choose from their jobs. Like, I want to do something. I want to be some type of protector, some type of hero. That was the closest thing I could think of. Like, that was just always in my body.
I get that. A lot of people know Tomahawk off the music. You do production, media. You know, you've been dropping a lot of events. You catch the events. You go crazy every time. But what's some things people don't know about you just from seeing you online? Some things you interested in, some things you be researching, or some talents or hobbies, some skills?
I was big into like history for a long time. So it's a lot. It's almost strange living in a world where you know some alternative history or some things that you think may have been the true history and versus what's not real history. So I live through that lens. So in a weird way, I don't see, you know, people say they don't see color.
Yeah.
Well, I see color, but I don't live through that lens like everybody else. Like, I know racism exists, but I really look at more as just like people just either know some stuff or they don't. They either ignorant or don't. They either being manipulated or they not. Right. You either being moving on somebody else's time that's benefiting from this, or you figuring out how to, you know, I don't think that majority of people have as high as level of discernment as me.
Right.
So I think I just come to accept that we all don't know the same stuff. And what you know is what you know. That's what you walk around, those the glasses you have on and stuff. So
yep.
Oh, another thing, I do lose my train of thought, where I deal with ADHD for real. Like, that's another thing people don't know about me. So it's been a challenge even being a rapper, just dealing with that, because I got to lock in when I can lock in, you feel me? Because at any moment, I could lose that flow state, or it just can be I'm not eating the right type of diet. You have to eat a certain way to maintain this type of brain. And And so it's like a superpower, but only if you know what you're supposed to be doing with this type of brain. It's not really it's just that I think it's more it comes down to it because I have to live with a brain that loses track of things sometimes. I learned to pay attention to what's most important in the moment for everything. And so a lot of things that are important to people day to day are not important to me. It's not the most important. I have to live with, being distracted and losing track of things, so a little clutter does not bother me as much as most people. It's just I don't like filth, you know what I mean? So I'm kind of running on with you. You know what I'm saying?
That's fire right there. That's fire right there. All right, so the name Tomahawk.
Oh yeah, I'll let you finish.
Okay. The name Tomahawk, where did it come from? Where did it come from? Let's start there.
So I give you the rundown. At one point, I used to go by T-Rex, right? That was just me trying to come up with something real raw that was sounding like my name. And then I ended up going by LOL. Same thing, it started off with my son being born. He laughed while he was a little newborn. I was laughing. I was like, LOL. I was like, my son laughed in his sleep, so it was like an acronym for Little Ones Laugh. My little ones laugh. And then I ended up changing to ELLO space EL. And that was because I was in my studies with other things at the time. I was learning, I'm gonna just say I was learning alternative information. And so I was trying to align myself with that information that I was learning. And then, like I said, you go through things, you learn. I was always into history. So I started learning what I think is the real history. And I found out that we was already here. There was already cultures there was here. There was already black people over there, whatever, if you want to call them black, because even that is an umbrella term that means a lot of things. So, that's what I mean by this is why you lucky to get an interview. I don't say a lot of stuff because I don't even want to deal with certain stuff. But at the end of the day, though, Tomahawk was basically me, like, claiming some type of what I think is forgotten claim to something. You know what I mean? It's like, to me, it's like, my name is Thomas. You know what I'm saying? And I always feel like I had a certain type of perspective, like a higher perspective, you want to call that. So Tomahawk was the best name I could come up with till I feel like I can embody me. It's like, I peep shit. I got a high perspective. I align with that energy pretty good. It's like, if you want to call it, might be my spirit animal. But I feel like I'm wise and I can peep shit like a hawk, though.
Right. Okay, that's fire right there. And what you stand for? What you truly represent? When somebody, if you
family.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the day, nothing. And when I say family, I ain't gonna sit up and say like I'll be trying to be father of the year or nothing. Cause I'm like everybody else when it comes to dealing with bullshit. I check out. I get pissed off. I bash my BM. I do all this stuff. I done did it all before. I ain't saying I'm doing it now, but I done it all. I done, checked out completely.
Right.
Completely. And I'm not gonna say like I'm proud of the shit, but I'm just being real. But for what I do wrong, I try to make up for what I can make up with. You know what I'm saying? But family has always been the most important thing to me. But once I feel like it can be used to manipulate me and stop me from being able to get in a position where I can even do for them in the first place, then it had to be. It can't be my thumb screw. You feel me?
Right.
It can't be a thumb screw for me. So even though family is the most important thing to me, I've had to let it go at one point.
Right.
And, so I can be better for the family. So, and that's where I'm at now. That's the most important thing. Like, if I can't have a work-life family balance, then my baby ain't finna suffer without me.
Right.
I bet you I'm gonna show up for her every day. So that's it though.
That's real.
This stuff is already to try to create something that's legitimate, man, to keep me from out of forget my hands and stuff that I know that'll take me off the street permanently. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Cause my back really against the wall. This shit ain't organized for me, bro. I've been doing this shit. No manager. No, I have plans, but making plans with it. What I got going on and stuff, it can be challenging. So I'm grateful for the progress that I made. I'm grateful for the consistency I've been able to make happen so far. Just being real.
Right. Hell yeah. For sure. If somebody was out of town, wanted to move to Saginaw, and they asked you how is Saginaw, what would you say to them?
It's good. It's polarity everywhere you go. There's light and shadow in everybody and every environment. What you get, it depends on how you come to the city. If you come with those shades on, and those shades, you've been programming those shades wherever you came from with like, everybody ain't shit, motherfuckers is fake, I can't stand. That's what you're gonna have on when you walk into that city. And that's what you're going to resonate with, because that's what you're going to see the most.
Right.
If you come with, a better mentality, that's why they say you can take Saginaw out of a person, but you can't take, you can take a person out of Saginaw, but you can't take Saginaw out of a person. That's what they mean, but you got to understand, it's good and bad. You grew up here. You remember before we was all taught what was right and wrong and what's ugly and what's not ugly and what's mean and what's not. Before we was taught what things were, we was all going to middle school, elementary school. We was all linking up with each other at some point. There was always groups. You had the nerds, the cool kids, the tour kids, whatever, right? They all interacted with each other at some point.
Right.
At some point, we figured out how to get along and tolerate each other. Then, that means because our hearts wasn't at that. This competition brought this out of us over the time.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. It's just that's just how nature works. That's how I come to expect it. But Saginaw is gonna be basically how you come programmed. That's what you're going to get the most of. You're going to get what you resonate with the most. It's good and bad here. And there's good within the people you might think is bad. There's a lot of love in the streets, man. It's a lot of love in the ghetto. It's a lot of fucking love in the ghetto. It's just traumatic love. It's just dysfunctional love. I've been lucky enough to unlearn a lot of stuff that I learned to where I can see it. And so I can appreciate it. And like, for me, it's just like, bro, I love this city, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. And it's crazy to say that because it be so fucked up and I done dealt with so much fuck shit. But on the same time, I done seen the good in everybody that I done came across. Everybody. Even if they done did some whole shit to me at some point. I remember a moment when you did some good shit. So that's a part of you too. It's just that I don't know what put your back against the wall that when I came across you, that I had to deal with the shadow side of you. So yeah, Saginaw is what you make it just like any other place. There are a lot of cities that I've been through that's like this, that got their own, but the people, because I'm not from there, I don't experience it. I don't even see it half the time. There are people that live in this city that never see and experience half the shit that we experience until they see it on the news.
Right.
So they never go through that suffering. I'm not saying that they any better than us. I'm just saying it's just how it is. But once you start, I'm gonna cut it.
No, that's right. That's just how it is, for sure. When did music become a part of your life? Like, was you in choir growing up, in band class?
It's kind of ironic you said that because I was in choir, but I'm gonna get to that. It started off with me. My dad used to hustle. I used to drive around in the back seat with him. He used to go do what he do. I don't know exactly what he did, but my dad used to hustle. And he used to play music all the time. So I grew up listening to a lot of I was growing up listening to a lot of 90s music, but he also had a whole bunch of cassette tapes and tapes that he didn't listen to. He just had stacked in the house, and I had a cassette tape player. It had a little microphone you can record if you had a tape you can record over. And I used to put aluminum foil in the tapes and record over the tapes sometimes. And just say stuff, just record myself. But I wasn't rapping. I was just doing it because I figured out how to do it. But all his tapes was like old school rap, Run DMC, Kings of Rock. They all so when I first got into rap, I was really in the old school rap. LL Cool J. LL Cool J was my first favorite rapper. That's really where my name came from too. LL Cool J. I was trying to be someone, I guess you want to call it, lover boy rapper, whatever but
right.
Yeah, but other than that though,
no, you sure you good.
All right, so kind of lost my train of thought. I ain't gonna lie to you. What I was saying
about how you got into the music.
Oh, so we used to listen to old school rap, right?
Yeah.
I listened to old school rap because that was what's at the house. So by the time I even started really getting into rap music with everybody else, they was all on Tupac and all this stuff and Snoop, and I wasn't feeling it like that at the time. I'm like, man, this shit ain't even really rapping like rap. I was in the more East Coast rap, so I was mostly into like Nas and the lyricists like that. Then later on, J. Cole, because my first son's mother really introduced me to him. She was a super fan of him. I was competitive back then. I'm competing with all the GOATs, the greats. I used to, when I grew up, I used to be like, damn, what if Lil Wayne or one of these cold, like Eminem or somebody asked me for a feature. I used to really think I can get to that point. Even though I thought I knew I wasn't that good, but I did. You couldn't have told me I wasn't that good back then. Right. Now, in retrospect, I'm like, man, I would have been intimidated, without running the phone. But back at the time, you couldn't have told me I couldn't hang with the greats, man. Because I practiced for them. I trained in my own little way to if Jay-Z wanted to get on the song with me. If who I thought was so cold? Twista. I used to rap fast at one point too. Yeah. I used to rap like them. I used to rap like Bone Thugs and Harmony at one point. So I really was like a really lyrical person. but my beats and all that stuff, because it came from that old school 808. When I first started making beats, it was more so like Southern style beats. So I had to learn how to be lyrical on Southern style beats. I grew up listening to a lot of 3 6 Mafia, Memphis, like Choices albums type stuff. I grew up listening to a lot of Lil Jon, you know, all when I first started making beats, that's what I was listening to, but that ain't how I was rapping. So it took me a while to even learn how to rap off my own beats the right way to make them sound good. So that's why, that's all that versatility you
the
hear.
beats came first?
The beats came. I was rapping first, but I couldn't get into the studio. Shout out to Smoke Skywalker. He was the first person to bring me to the studio. He took me to Kwame's studio, even though nothing happened. Kwame looked at me. He was locked in on what he was doing and ignored the shit. My cousin Zeke took me there too. That was his brother. Rest in peace, Zeke, man. But Smoke was the first person to really try to get me in the lab. That's why I got a relationship with him to this day. And I know, you know, everybody got their own stories and shit, but I believe in you don't abandon the people in the shade if you gonna shine with them in the sun. You feel me? So that's just why you see me making the type of moves I make with everybody. I know I've been around a lot of people didn't fuck with, you know, but I know what it's like to let go of a motherfucker that you was locked in with for other people, and then have those other people just roll out on you. So everybody that I build a relationship with, I maintain that connection the best I can if I can help it. If it's respectfully, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. When did you start? Let me see. When did you get into the mode like this? Is not a hobby no more. I want to take this shit serious.
Man,
like, I want to drop this shit. This gonna get out here. I'm trying to blow up.
And then, dog, I want to say I've been felt that way, but I didn't. It's like I had